If you do not have Dark Future yet, you need to read it. We can solve problems if we understand what's coming our way, and it's coming our way quickly. I've been talking to you about AI and also deep fakes for a while now. I've been telling you for, 10 years, look out. When this time comes, you won't be able to believe your eyes. Tom Hanks has just come out yesterday or the day before saying that there is an AI version of him promoting some dental plan. And he said, that's not me. They didn't ask me to use my likeness or anything, but it is an AI, Tom Hanks, saying, hey, this dental plan is great. I'm Tom Hanks. Take my word for it.
Wow. And he had nothing to do with it.
He had nothing to do with
AI.
it. All AI. When that happens in a scandal, if that happens when you see something that Putin said about we're going to launch the missiles, or Biden say we're going to do something crazy,
terrifying.
You don't have time. It might not be real.
And what percentage of people would accept if they saw a clip of Joe Biden or Donald Trump saying something that was totally fake? I mean, a good percentage of the opponents would just believe it, right?
Here's where we are. We are at the glove. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. We're at that point with AI.
What do you mean?
The genetic code, we knew we could take DNA samples and narrow it down, right? Mm-hmm. And in the O.J. Simpson trial, they said it's like 20 people maybe in the entire world would have this DNA code that we could mistake it for one of 24 maximum.
The science said pretty clearly he was guilty.
Correct. But nobody knew what DNA was. Nobody knew what that meant. Now we're at the same place to where some people will never believe something that's real and always believe things that are fake.
Right. Like people, they're not at that point where you're being able to separate truth from fiction in that realm. And some of it is so hard to tell by the naked eye. But at this point, we still sort of have institutions, I think, holding that line, right? Where, I don't know. Like, if
the laptop isn't real, it's Russian disinformation. When it comes to politics, I don't think there is. If it's political, if it's a dental thing,
yes, that's still there.
But if it's a political thing, I don't think you can trust them.
Okay, wouldn't you, let's just say, a fake video came out of Donald Trump, I don't know, blurting out the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say most of the liberal commentators and many of the journalists would either say it was true for sure. Immediately, that would 100% be the reaction. But once it was discovered it was false, I think many of them would still kind of stick to it.
I think they would stick to it saying, well, that's the way he would act.
Or
we
just
haven't
say,
caught him.
The media's, what you're hearing is, who knows? Yeah. They're probably trying to cover for Trump or whatever. Some way to make it seem like, keep your mind open. Maybe it is true.
This is why the truth matters in all of our life. First of all, who is somebody you look up to? Try to imagine that person. Somebody that you think, that's a person I can trust. How many people can you come up with? Okay, that's a problem. How many heroes do you have from the past that you go, I'm comfortable with the history. I understand it. I understand the good side, the bad side. Nobody could take that apart on me. I'm that confident I know who this person is. You are probably that person to somebody else, whether that's your kid, your wife, your husband, a friend. You are probably that person. And you just thought of how many people you can trust. When that person goes down, you have done great grave damage. Grave damage. because you've taken a little bit of hope in people away. Please, please clean up your life. Tell the truth. Just tell the truth all times. Tell the truth. I've said to you for years, people are not going to know what the truth is. Well, I was wrong. I'm right that people don't know what the truth is. What I missed was the whole society is telling you the truth doesn't matter. And it does matter. Let me give you an example. Biden administration secretly worried about corruption in Ukraine. This today. President Joe Biden's administration reportedly secretly worried about corruption in Ukraine despite putting on a brave face for the public over the situation. Politico attained a confidential U.S. strategy document in which U.S. officials discussing objectives that they had for helping Ukraine root out malfeasance and otherwise reform an array of Ukrainian sectors. The document warns that corruption in the country could cause nations to pull their support from the country as it battles the Russian military. The report said the administration wants to press Ukraine to cut graft, not least because U.S. dollars are at stake. Administration is reportedly concerned about being too loud about pressuring Ukraine to tackle its corruption because they are worried Republicans will use the issue to cut back spending. Use the issue? They would use the issue. No. The president should be concerned about your hard-earned money. Everything that you have made your entire life or will make your entire life, every penny that you have put into Social Security and your taxes, every penny will not make a dent in one day of funding to the Ukrainian people. You've worked your whole life for that. And they're just going to blow it? How dare you? How dare you do that? Are you more worried about your image? Are you more, and I say this to Republicans and Democrats alike, are you more concerned about you, your special interests, or what you think is important when your constituents say no? And if you're going to do it, can you at least do it responsibly? Don't you have, even if you say, you know what, I'm sorry, this is a representative republic, so I am your representative. I happen to know, you hired me to make the decisions for you and be informed and reflect you, but you're wrong on this. We have to do this. Even if you believe that, don't they then have a responsibility to you to do it effectively and without corruption? No, they don't take that seriously. What they take seriously is the way it can politically backfire on them. That's grotesque. Absolutely grotesque. So now we know that Joe Biden said he went and fixed corruption over there, that he finally got the bad guy out. When we've been saying this is the most corrupt place ever, he's so concerned about corruption that during a war when the Ukrainians are dying, he's worried that their politicians are so corrupt, they'll take the money that should go to help them fight to keep their own country. They'll take it and waste it. They'll take it and they'll keep it for themselves. Wow, and you'd send your son over there to do business with the guy you know is one of the most ruthless oligarchs over there? If my son was over there, first of all, he wouldn't be. But if my son was over there and I knew he was with an oligarch who literally beheads people, I would say, son, no, don't work for him. No, do not. You can take a job over there someplace. Do not work with that man. That's the least I would say to him. See, here's the thing. They say they care about democracy. They don't. They care about controlling the votes. That's why nobody fixes the machines. Nobody looked into the last election. Nobody will actually pass anything, even though we all of us, without getting political about last election or the next election, just the election process. Do you only want people who are qualified to vote legally be able to access the vote easily? Do you want every legitimate vote counted in a trustworthy situation? I can't imagine that there's a liberal or a conservative, an independent that would say no to that. You know who does? Politicians who know how to work the system for themselves. See, a democracy is one man, one vote. We don't have that. Because the system is corrupt. But our founders were smart enough to know that it also doesn't work. Because when the politician figures out they can just give people money and that will make them vote for it, then that politician is forever powerful. That's why we're supposed to have a representative government, a republic, so people can represent us and say, no, you're being used over here. No, I'm sorry. That politician, no matter how much he gives you, should be stopped. We have such an important job to do. And this is not the time for sunshine patriots. This is the time, and you were born for it. I hate to point it out, but you were born for it. You're ready for it. If you're not, you should prepare. If you know our history, you know our Constitution, then have you thought about running for a position? I know that sucks. But have you thought about, there are so many races now that, Stu, give me the Senate list of the people that we have to have people running against.
I mean, a couple names would be Roger Wicker in Mississippi and Kevin Kramer in North Dakota, both with very mediocre conservative voting records, both up for election in 2024. There's no reason these people should not be primaried. You're going to win the state if you win the primary. It's one of those type of situations. You don't have to worry about losing it. It's not like Maine. You're going against Susan Collins, and your primary winner might lose the general. You're not going to lose either of those elections. Mitt Romney was the number one target on this list. Luckily, he's retiring.
Well, it'll be his son if somebody doesn't get in. It'll be his son that runs.
Please, you keep saying that. Please stop saying it.
I'm telling you,
Please.
I think that's what will happen.
You do not.
Anyway, you need to get involved. You need to stand up. And you need to say to the people right now in Washington who did this 45-day extension of the CR, so what are you doing today? What are you doing today? Bitching about it? What is Kevin McCarthy doing today? Is he actually moving forward on any of these things where we're supposed to have passed in 45 days? If not, why the hell not?